Greece just made a bond payment of more than 400 million euros, and that's just after the restructuring when it said it was its best and final offer. Does that somehow undermine future restructurings if investors know that perhaps if they hold out they'll get the full amount?
Well, it raises a concern along those lines, but I think we have to recognize that this payment was made in the most extraordinary set of political uncertainties in Greece, and this was a major factor in their decision to pay. In the absence of those political uncertainties, I think it's highly unlikely that they would have paid these holdouts. But I think what they wanted to avoid was the impression that by defaulting on this, in the midst of such government uncertainty, that this was a willingness to move down a broader path of default. And so I think that while it was unfortunate from the point of view of those creditors that I represented who voluntarily gave up 70% of the value, I think the creditors need to have some understanding that this decision was made in the midst of huge political uncertainty. And I'm not as concerned because of that about the precedential implications as I would otherwise be.
And you said that the Greek austerity program should be adapted and adjusted to the new realities. Do you think there's, what exactly do you mean by that? Any potential figures? And do you think there's any chance whatsoever that the seemingly intransigent Germans or ECB are going to pay any heed to that kind of suggestion?
I think so much is at stake that I would be surprised if at the end of the day all leaders don't adjust their positions here. New Greek leaders will have to recognize that there is little alternative to pursue the heart of the reforms to which they have already committed, because these are key to restoring competitiveness and efficiency for the Greek economy, whether in or out of the Eurozone. But at the same time, I would hope that Eurozone leaders would have the capacity to look at what experience we've had in Greece and to stretch out the time frame for budgetary deficit reduction. It would only cost Europe as a whole an additional 6 to 10 billion euro to stretch out another year or 18 months the targets that they have currently set for budget adjustment. This would help give a little more breathing space for the effects of recapitalization of the banks to then catalyze credit flows, which can catalyze confidence and hopefully lead to some seeds of new growth in Greece.
And you say you don't think European leaders have got any game plan for Greece exiting the euro. I mean, they all seem to suggest that. I mean, what for you, how calamitous would a Greek exit for Eurozone members, strong ones and weak alike, be?
Somewhere between catastrophic and Armageddon. I think that there is a real risk of complacency here. I think it's one thing to say this is a bothersome, troublesome part of the Eurozone. We would just be better off without it. That to me is wishful thinking. This was a huge decision made when the decision was made to create the Eurozone without any provisions for exit. And I think that the answer is not to try to find some easy path for exit, because there is no easy path, but to bring in the other pillar which is missing, which is fiscal convergence and fiscal union.